Day one, here we are. I am just going to pick up the live stream on my phone so I'll be able to see comments here. Magical. Hello. I am beyond excited to be here with you right now. If you are catching this on the replay, which I know a lot of beautiful souls are going to be joining me on the replay, just type in hashtag replay so I can see your comments. Hello, beautiful souls that are here with me live, Danielle and Carolyn, and I've got Sydney here, and I'm sure more people will pop on. But I am in such full trust and knowing, it's beyond trust. It's like this deep knowing that the exact people that are supposed to hear and see and feel these codes and activations are going to be here. So I want to thank you for being a co-creator of this frequency. It's super exciting. I'm always incredibly honored whenever anyone decides to take a moment out of their day or an hour to come and play with me. So Trisha, welcome. Shamina, beautiful souls. I have some people saying happy Easter, and it is absolutely an incredible time to be doing this. There is no coincidences. We are going to be riding on the energy of what has just been coming through. I don't know about you, but I have been feeling incredible waves of light that have been streaming into the planet over the last few years, but really it's picked up over the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I'm really grateful that I heeded my intuition and I really created some space for myself to receive them. The codes for this particular experience and activation that I'm going to be sharing with you today started coming in last summer solstice. Then at the winter solstice for me, because I'm in the northern hemisphere, at the winter solstice, more of the codes that were preparing me to be able to share these transmissions and activations with you started dropping in, as well as the name. It was Luminous Evolution. It was gold light. It was really profoundly beautiful. But at the time, I was like, what is this? I don't know what this is going to be yet. And pieces of the puzzle have been coming through and coming in over the last few months, weeks, and days so that we could be here right now. So I want to start with just a little bit of an energy update of what I have personally been experiencing. But let me know if you're watching live or if you're on the replay, if you have been noticing what feels like possibly waves of light or just like energy, intensity over the last while. Let me know if you have felt it, whether it's felt heavy or light, it doesn't matter. When I'm talking about light, first off, I am talking about the celestial information that is coming from the cosmos, but also information that could be being imparted from the center of the earth and from also other humans. So when I'm talking about light, I'm talking about information that is also coupled with love, because that's how it works in our universe here. There is so much that is coming through in terms of information. Some of my friends will call it data. So much more than has been available to us on the planet over the last while. So, as I was saying, I was prepped. Thank goodness, because I don't know how I would have managed if I had not listened to what I had been called to do, which is make some space. Basically, back in September, November, I had to create like an emptiness in my life and in my business and just let a bunch of stuff fall away. And then new codes new information, new upgrades, new activations about my personal self, about my business, about my soul mission, about who I am as a being started to come in, started to percolate because there was space. And then relatively recently, about the beginning of March, when I was about just coming back from a trip speaking in different areas, I was wanting to go out. I was wanting to be social. I was wanting to do all the things. And the light said to me, you need to just sit and make some more space and create a routine, a schedule, a system for yourself where you do this every day. Like, you need space. Otherwise, you're going to get smacked around by the light that's going to be coming in. I have had lots of times in the past where I haven't listened to that. Let me know if you have ever gotten an intuitive download and been like, yeah, good idea, and then like not done it. It doesn't usually work out so well for me. So I have learned to give it my best when I'm receiving information and messages like that. And I'll share more about how I receive information over the course of this masterclass. But I made space. Over the last 3-4 weeks, I made space for the opening to receive and the receiving of the light that's been coming in. And it's been upgrades on the multidimensional levels, intuition, into accessing new frequencies, new octaves of frequencies, new colors, new information. And I am super excited to be able to share some more of that with you. But I am so curious. Suzanne says, I can so relate. Have you had to make space right now? Have you also been guided to open and receive? What I know is that when I am in an open and receptive state, when there's a lot of intensity coming in, I can actually enjoy it somewhat. But when I don't have the space, energetically, physically, in the time of day, it actually feels more like an assault on my system. And then my shields go up and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so intense. No, there's too much happening. It feels like chaos. And it just creates this vicious circle of feeling overextended because we get maxed out. Michelle's saying, absolutely. I knew I wasn't alone. I speak with my friends and clients, and I get the fingers on the pulse of what's happening energetically, not only intuitively, but just because of how connected we all are. But it doesn't happen the way it happens to me for everybody. And also sometimes I am a little bit ahead of the wave just because of who I am and who I am here to be, like what I am here to be, the kind of service that I am here to offer, which is sometimes receiving the coding first so I can then share it. So if we haven't met officially, my name is Casey Belize Knight. People also know me as Aurora Light. That's how you might be finding me on Facebook here. I am a multidimensional person who currently is absolutely loving the end also. Call me Casey, call me Aurora. It's perfectly divine and fine. Whatever feels like the frequency that is going to be the most aligned and attuned for you. And I have said this before, but I feel like frequency is my first language. Frequency is the energy, like the feeling, the sensation of it. And I do work as a mystic, coach, and course creator at this point in time in my life. I have also been a performing artist. I have been a guide for many years in informal ways and more formal ways for people who are up-leveling their lives. And in the past, sometimes that looked like teaching people how to dance with hula hoops and come into alignment and mastery with who they really are. My first business, Dancing into Being, I kind of snuck the mastery and the spirituality into deep embodiment work, which was so much fun. I love dancing, and for me, it's this beautiful portal into universal activations. It aligns body, mind, heart, and soul. And also, there are so many other ways to play with frequency. And I was guided into a deeper experience of playing with frequency and energy over the last few years. On my 8th year or so of the planet, I was just minding my business when I actually received this multidimensional communication from the voice of creation, the all that is. And I want to share a little bit about that for you now. And I'm seeing some notes, people saying, I love making space if I don't have time to rest for longer periods of time. And Suzanne says, I'm in the process of making space right now. So this is the thing. Sometimes we don't even need space, and the information that we need is going to come through. It's going to push its way through, and we're going to receive it. And I'll tell you about the first time that happened to me. But the integration and ability to work with it just comes more easily when we're creating space and time to consciously open and receive, to gather and connect, and to explore and play, all of which we're going to be doing today. But when I was 8 years old, I don't remember what I was doing, but I do remember suddenly being just immersed in this multidimensional light that I could see, feel, taste. Like I just knew what it was, and it felt like love and inevitability. It was just this profound isness of it. And I heard for the first time that I can remember this voice in my ear, instead of just like a voice in my head saying, you're here to be a spiritual teacher. And at the time, I already had enough of either a smartass in me or an ego trying to protect me when I was 8, going, oh, no, I'm just a kid. What are you talking about? And the voice in its infinite loving wisdom was like sharing not only the words with me at this point, but like visions and feelings and sensations. And it was like having synesthesia, like all of the senses were mingled together all at once. It was totally immersive. And this voice said, when you're older, it was kind of like, obviously. And I had all of these visions of, speaking with people on a global level. And I will tell you, that freaked me out, because at the time, this was way before the internet. And I couldn't just imagine zooming in and speaking with people from all around the world. I thought it had to be a really big deal to do the work of connecting with people all over the world. So I am really excited and glad that we get to connect here on Zoom, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever we are being connected, so that we can have this conversation globally. And I would absolutely adore for you to share where you're from in the chat box, because nothing makes me happier than knowing we have people that are anchoring in these codes around the world. I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, or just outside of that right now. And I am excited to be this emissary, portal, channel for the codes that are coming in and through. What I've been receiving over the last few days have been upgrades and activations that are full of this beautiful gold light. It's actually plasma energy as well as light. And the plasma is sort of like the higher self of water. You could think of it in terms of energetics. It's very magnetic, it's incredibly healing, and it has this like viscosity to it that can sometimes feel dense, but it's like a light density instead of a heavy pull you down energy. So all of the words that I'm going to be sharing, you're going to have your own experiences and definitions of. So I want to invite you through these next 3 days to take a couple of breaths and land in your heart and listen with your body and your heart instead of just the mind level. If you stay in the mind level only, you might be like, I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, I think I've experienced this in a different way. Right? Your mind can go and confuse the issue. What I want you to receive this as is at the soul level. And our souls are actually also in our bodies, in our forms. So Whatever you're doing, just take a couple breaths with me. Okay. If you feel like closing your eyes to really go deep, go ahead. Breathe in through your nose, really fill up your root and your belly in that sacral area. And just sigh it out, audible sigh. Notice the energy shift in just one of those. Yeah. Let's do two more though, to really just let anything that is kind of creating a crunched up energy in us just drop away. You can pick it up later if you need to. We're going to just meet here and now though, me and you and all the other beautiful souls. But really, I want this to be a conversation between the two of us, all of us. So breathe in through your nose, go through the root and belly, and then bring it up to the heart space and hold it for a moment. Just sigh it out, big sigh. Nice. One more of those. Breathe from your root all the way up through your heart and up into your crown and hold it. Exhale. Amazing. I just want you to notice how you feel after just 3 conscious breaths. That is the fastest way to open and soften and receive. And so anytime you're feeling in this conversation or throughout your day or your life, you're noticing you're starting to tense up, shields are going up, the mind is starting to chatter a little faster, take a few slow, deep breaths. It's so simple. It doesn't cost us any money. It doesn't take very much time. And it is one of the most profound things that we can do to actually be present and here now. Like, it is a literal life changer, a game changer. No matter where you are, we've got people from all over Canada, Edmonton, Ontario, and then we've got a couple people down in the States. There's a lot of East Coast representation. Beautiful, as well as other souls from all over who are going to be watching on the replay. Be sure to put it in because, like I said, it brings me great joy to know where you are coming from here and now. So we are going to connect in today to the alchemy of possibility and talk a little bit more about, like, what do we do with these light codes that are streaming in? What is the point even? What are we to do with them? What is the possibility? What's the potential there? And on day 2, we're going to look more deeply at the intuitive senses, the, like, how do I do what it is that I do, right? Like, how do I know all of this stuff? How is it coming through? And then on day 3, we're going to be talking about our essence evolution, right? And the embodiment of our essence, because that is sneak peek, preview, spoiler alert, that is really the point, to evolve into the most beautiful, radiant, expressive, shiny, luminous version of our own unique light. Let's take a breath on that. You came here to be who you are. You came here to be the light that you actually are. And you came here to share that light unapologetically. And yet, how many beautiful beings that are here with me live or on the replay have felt yourself holding back, dulling it down, making your light, your essence, a little more palatable and a little less in your face? Let me know if you have ever dulled your shine. No, I'm not the only one who has done that. Let me know if you have ever been told you were too much, like, even if it wasn't in words, but it was like somebody who was like, what is that even, right? Sometimes just with the eyes, sometimes just with their energy. Everybody that's called into this space right here, I know you are the more energetic, sensitive types. No matter what labels you put it on, you feel energy. And you can feel when somebody starts to like shut down or put their shields up against your energy, when they recoil. So sometimes when we are being kind, we've turned the volume switch down on our light, or the frequency, the amplitude. We make it less bright because we know it can sometimes be uncomfortable for other people. Here's the thing, that used to be a really great tactic, not only in terms of like being kind to people, but also to survive. I said this on an earlier live today. I'm gonna show you this because I got a lot of people going, yes, big time, absolutely. I've been told I am too much. And maybe let's just touch on this. You've been harboring also at the same time the not enoughness at the same time, because two things can feel true at the same time. So I touched on this, but this normally isn't in my frame, and I couldn't get it out of my frame without like scooching over weirdly in my desk. So something shifted, and it's this picture of me needs to be shown. Some of you already know what this is, but this is a soul portrait of me that was done by this artist, Wendy Bird, in Sedona, I want to say about 12 years ago for me. And this is what she saw with just meeting me like briefly. And this was when I was just really coming into owning more of my mystical capacity. Even though at the age of 8, I already had that capacity, right? I could have these beautiful mystical experiences. And then I spent a lot of time kind of like ignoring them, being like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to live life as a human. The channel of light that came through in this portrait for her, she said, was very, very profound and something that I carry with me in each lifetime. My capacity to channel light is just part of my essence. It's part of my design. Some people are more of a light emitter, a transceiver, a focal point could be more of a transmuter, right? This light, though, used to get me in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. It would get me exiled. It would get me, just in a lot of situations in past lives where it did not turn out very well for people around me or for myself. But whenever I came here, I was like, well, the truth is what I came here to shine and share, so I'm not going to shy away from that. And I've been celebrating lately the fact that in this lifetime, not only do I get to talk about it, and I get to connect with people all over the world who also have the same gifts, who are here to shine their light, to share it, who can channel it and who can transmit it, and who are here to sparkle it all over the place. But we get to do so in like safety because of all of the work that we have done up until now, or people have done in this collective. We have been for many, many, many years as a collective been working towards this point. And anytime I go into a session with my clients or a ceremony, like when I'm connecting people to more of who they are and their etheric team, it is luminous ancestors first, and they are just cheering and applauding, and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you for the work that you have been doing. In my last masterclass, which is actually in this Facebook group, in the guides, you can experience this for yourself, where it was so profound because these ancestors were connecting to us and saying, you are exactly where you should be, and we're so grateful that you have done the work to be here right now. And they make me cry every time they connect in, because they are so proud of all of the work that they have done to get us to this point and that we are taking and moving forward with. And this time right now, right after Easter in 2022, the codes are coming in for freedom, renewal, rebirth, resurrection, and redemption. Just breathe that in for a moment. Redemption. It's a really interesting word. I'm going to share with you more candidly than I would normally. I get these mystical, magical, profound experiences when I'm in sessions with people, when I am doing ceremonies, when I'm doing masterclasses, when I'm meditating, when I'm dancing. But sometimes they come to me when I'm like making toast or driving or on the freaking toilet. Like on Sunday morning, I am on the toilet, just finishing up, and all of a sudden this wave of light is like, the gold plasma light is upon me, and I am bathed in it. And it's the crystalline gold plasma of rebirth, reconnection, renewal. It feels freaking blissful. And I do work with masters and some of those guides sometimes. I usually go right up to highest self or work more with Star Nation people. But here, Yeshua, Jesus, was in my bathroom laughing a little bit because he interrupted me on the toilet and he thought it was hilarious. And I'm like, could you not have waited? He's like, that's way funnier this way. It was kind of an inside joke because he did approach me about 20 years ago, no, 15 years ago, one time when I was crying in the bathroom when I was leaving a job. And that was the first time I had met him in a mystical experience. And he's like, don't worry, I got this. And he like threw me over his shoulder energetically. And I actually felt really carried and held, and I was able to make it through the rest of the day without crying. So it was like this inside joke that apparently we had together. It was amazing to be held that way, and also amazing to see that the light that's coming in is so profoundly shifting that I couldn't block it out just by being in my normal. I didn't have to open up to receive it. It was like, here you are. And I was told by Yeshua, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Easter. This is your day. This is like your codes. Thank you for these resurrection, rebirth, and renewal codes. I don't really celebrate it and go to church, so I wasn't really thinking of it. I was like, what is this unannounced bathroom visit? Oh, it's Easter. Right. Okay. I digress. He was like, this is the beginning of humanity's redemption arc. It's a redemption arc. Okay. And he shared with me that we actually have the capacity now to do things that we have not ever had the capacity to do. We have the capacity to fully heal ourselves, those old traumas, those old things that have been in our system for so long, and actually do something about them instead of feeling like we're just putting band-aids upon them. Right? Full healing has been possible, but it left so many imprints. He's saying the capacity to move beyond the imprinted trauma is next level and available now. And because of that, because of all of the people that are doing healing work constantly, like you wouldn't be here if you weren't doing that, by the way, who are doing it on behalf of their like lineage, because of all of that, because of what is going to continue and what is going to expand, we can actually make huge strides forward now. And what humanity gets to do is redeem themselves as a species, right? Because obviously it has not gone that well on the whole for the last many years, but there have been so many bright spots, so many people who have been actively working on making this world a better place. There's also been some really messed up stuff, but we're going to be able to fully heal, like not only the wounds, the imprints of the wounds, and all of that over the last few years has really been illuminated, right? For a lot of us on the personal level, as well as obviously on the collective level. COVID was a whole nother expansion into the illumination of everything that's not working. It was also an incredible opportunity for people to really step into either more of who they are or or not, because not everybody took the invitation that was available to slow down, to open to receive the gifts inside the crap, right? So this is part of our experience right now, is an opportunity to be renewed by the light that's coming in, right? To be rejuvenated, to literally be reborn into this next level version of ourselves. It's going to happen regardless, but you basically have two options right now. You can allow this rebirth to happen and allow yourself to let go of the old stuff that isn't going to serve us moving forward. Or you can hold on to it as tightly as possible and resist the change and be in basically agonizing pain because things are going to change whether you like it or not. And the choice is ours, right? If we want to do this with as much grace and ease as possible, or if we are going to resist, right? The resistance is what causes the suffering, it causes the pain. And I get it. I get that change is oftentimes painful and scary and hard. I have certainly resisted change because it felt too big, too overwhelming. Even when I knew it was my destiny, I have resisted it. And I love change. I am someone who can see and feel and know the future, where we're headed, and that it's more beautiful than we can imagine. And I have a lot of fire in my chart. And I'm like, change, ooh, cool, let's keep it interesting. And yet I still resist, even when I know it's in my highest and best good sometimes. It's part of human nature. And also, a lot of stuff is going to be changing over the next few days, weeks, months, years. In the next 10 years, there's going to be a shift that is so vast in the collective consciousness that we're going to look back at right now and go, oh, we didn't even know. We didn't even know. Breathe it in. When I said that, there was a wave of energy that came through about looking back 10 years from now to today. Did you feel it? Did you feel a wave of energy go through? We're going to talk more about that kind of thing tomorrow, the feeling of it, the sensation of it. But I have a few people saying, yeah, I felt that. I felt that wave. So that was light. That was truth. That wave of energy that you felt in your body was a soul resonance, and your soul was like, oh yeah, I remember. I know. Okay, so keep an eye out as we're talking over the next 3 days for experiences in your body like that, because your body, when it is in a relaxed state, is a truth barometer. Okay, when our shields are up, it's very, very difficult for us to fully feel or trust the feelings, because when our shields are up, right, when we are spinning in trauma, when we don't feel safe in our body, then we're looking at everything through the lens of survival, okay? And the survival mechanism is from our ego. Woo, big motorcycle going by. And it's amazing. We require that as humans to literally have gotten here. So we don't want to like kill the ego. That's a distortion of massive proportions, by the way, in the spiritual communities, because ego death happens, but you never actually kill your ego, nor do you want to. It actually helps you not walk into traffic. Like it's helpful. Not mouth off to the big guy with the sword beside you. Like, it has helped us evolutionarily get to where we are, but it needs to be a tool that is utilized to protect the human form from dying, but not running the entire show. And that's one of the things that's being illuminated by the light right now and over these last few years. There are so many of us carrying, all of us are carrying trauma in our bodies from the last few years, and in our from our lives, from our childhood, from the birth process, and in our lineage, in our DNA. So this is being illuminated really quite vividly by the light that's coming in. And that's why there is this interest, this surge in trauma healing, because we're not only accumulating more of it right now, but also we're like, wow, this is a thing. It wasn't talked about very much until recently. This is one of humanity's greatest opportunities right now, is that the light that is coming in is illuminating everything, all of it, good, bad, joyful, amazing, ugly. It can't stay in the shadows anymore. So that looks like chaos. But what's really kind of happening is it's like, at the end of a night at the bar, at a party or whatever, and the lights go on, and suddenly the light is like hurting your eyes, and you're like, oh God. You've all been there, right? But then you see like the mess, and you're like, oh, this is nasty. The mess has been there the whole time, but there wasn't enough light to see it. Things were hiding under the surface in the personal and in the collective. So this is the very first thing that we can do with the light that's coming in. We can let our eyes adjust to it, right? In whatever way that needs to happen for you, right? You don't have to stare at it blindly, but we do have to look. We have to look at our own personal situation, our bodies, our minds, our souls, and go, what is here? Without judgment is the most ideal way, in my opinion, to do it, right? Not looking and going like, oh, what is this crap? Oh my God, right? Like, no, you don't have to do it that way. But this is time to take honest stock. And most people are doing this already. If you're here, you're probably already doing this. This is an invitation to go deeper and let the light that's coming in right now illuminate for you the things that have been up until this point invisible, or that you've ignored, that you've swept into the closet, because the light is shining into all of the nooks and the crannies, right? In terms of our behaviors, our belief systems, the people that we're in relationship with, our business, our friendships, right? All of that is like highlighted, and fortunately not always all at the same time, but you are going to be shown what is what right now. Let me know if you've been experiencing this. Have you been like, oh, been like, whoa, recently, let's say over the last few months, maybe 2 years, but like, I didn't notice this. This is a thing that I get to deal with. Notice I said get to instead of have to. As a frequency person, coach, guide, I love supporting people in choosing languaging that's going to feel more supportive, right? Because this is intense enough. There's words and there's frequencies and actions and beliefs and experiences that make us feel crunchy, right? Heavy, dense, and put our shields up. And then there's the ones that make us feel soft, safe, light, expansive, radiant, right? So throughout this, I might be throwing a few times where I'm like, look at the languaging here. What could we choose differently? That's one of the lights that I get to shine, that I get to illuminate, is how do these words actually feel? Not what do they mean in terms of their definition, but how do they feel in your body? And they might feel different for you. So have to versus get to. Suzanne's feeling definitely. You've had things illuminated. You've had things highlighted for you, right? We have to first, we have to see it to be able to deal with it. And that can sometimes feel overwhelming, right? But that is the number one thing. It's kind of hard to actually shift something, heal it, support ourselves if there is no sense of it, right? So what the process that I use to work with the light that's coming in, and that I've actually used all my life to support myself and people and clients and students through massive shifts with amazing results, I call evolutionary alchemy. It's working with the light. And the very first step beyond just letting things be illuminated is to then notice in that illumination what is ready to be transformed. I like to think of it in terms of density and how it feels to us, as opposed to making any kind of moral judgment. Because you know what? You're going to exist in your body on earth. That's how it works right now. And there are things that are going to feel heavy and dense to you and light to other people. You get to choose. You have to feel for it in your own beingness and decide how you would rather feel, right? Is it heavy and dense and squished up, or is it feeling more of that expansive energy, you know, the feeling like you can't breathe because the weight of the world is on you, or, whew, okay, feeling like there's openness and possibility. The transmutation process, the transformation process, is another way we can work with the light right now. Let it show you what's ready to shift. And then we can see it clearly and ask, what is ready to shift, move? Does it just need to be released? Sometimes just literally bringing something to your awareness that we're ready to let go of it, because while it served us in the past and we can be super grateful for what it was, it might not serve us anymore. So we can sometimes just let it go, sometimes release it with joy, with love, with respect. Sometimes it is harder than that. And it takes practice. We might have to install something new. It might need to be a belief. It might need to be a habit. It might need to be something else, right? Something that I am learning to release right now is an old habit that reared its head again during COVID. And that was to eat to kind of like disassociate and escape. I gained a lot of weight because I was suddenly not doing my dance job, but rather, and I haven't told you this story yet, some of you know already, I moved into this online business. I was prepared for COVID. And I ate more than my body needed. But it was a coping mechanism. I don't drink, I don't do drugs anymore, right? But I also couldn't dance. I felt disconnected from my friends. I had injuries, so I couldn't work out. And it was like the only thing that was getting me through that stressful period of time in a way that felt graceful and easy. It helped me to survive until it didn't. And it started to really weigh me down. And then it was like, okay, great gratitude to this coping strategy, this mechanism for helping me get to this point, because it helped me stay alive. But just alive, just surviving, that is not the vibe. That is not the vibe that I'm going for. Tell me if it's the vibe you're going for, or would you rather be in the energy of thriving? Let me know if you're here to thrive, to grow, to evolve, to become more radiant. Yeah. So as I have been learning, it is much easier to let go of old habits if you install something new. So there's all kinds of things that I'm doing for myself, like going, how can I add nutrition to this? How can I add other things that are going to support me body, mind, and soul for this, process? I had to go through and I had to shift belief systems. I had to unhook old energies from my lineage that I found from my grandparents, from my mom. There was some stuff that wasn't even mine. And changing the habits, right? So sometimes it's a very multi-layer, multifactorial process to transform something, and it takes time. It's worth it though, right? If we want to evolve and grow, we get to transform what used to work, and again, with love and gratitude. The whole thing though is the stuff that got us here is not going to be the stuff that takes us there to that future that you felt when I said, oh, it's so bright and shiny. We don't even know yet. That energy, yeah, the coping mechanisms, the beliefs, the skills, the habits, the way we carry ourselves, like none of that is going to be able to come with us up this octave into this next level of vibrational frequency. The things that make us feel dense and heavy, that make us put our shields up, that make us feel like we're not safe, they do have to go. Now, I'm not going into trauma healing in this at all. That's actually not my specialty, but I do know that it is one of the first steps. So if you feel like there is trauma stuck in your body to the point that your shields are always up, your nervous system's activated, you can't relax, this is your greatest opportunity to ask for the universe to bring you the correct resources to support you in beginning the healing journey with lots of grace and compassion to yourself. For those of us that have already done a lot of that work, and it's just the intermittent activation of the nervous system. There's lots of techniques you can use, like shaking, 3 breaths, right? Moving, getting a workout. For me, there's so much light coming to the planet that if I don't move, sweat, get creative, and make time and space to meditate and fuel myself well and connect with friends and do all of the things all of the time now, there's too much energy in my body and it ricochets around me. It's like zing, 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 zing. Let me know if you felt like that before, because there's a lot of people here that are like, I'm ready to thrive. Okay. Learning how to run the energy, to transmute it in the way that serves you is, again, your greatest opportunity. So what works for me might not work for you. For me right now, I'm doing a lot of dancing and going and like pumping weights, walking, and taking time to do Kundalini yoga, to meditate, to relax. You get to pick the things, but it's got to be way more than ever before, because there's so much that we're transmuting. Your self-care gets to be continuously up-leveled, and what might have been okay to do in like 10 minutes or an hour once a week, you might need an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours a day now. And I'm sorry, that's just the way it is, because there is so much being transmuted and so much energy and so much light coming through. Once we've done that transmutation phase of the evolutionary alchemy, we then have the spaciousness within us to receive, to activate a deeper connection to ourselves, body, mind, heart, and soul. But when you're trying to connect with somebody, another person, or with your highest self, your guides, your multidimensional self, and you don't have room, it's not going to work. That's why it's step number 1. So take another deep breath with me. Let it out. Just intentionally create a little bit more space for the light to flow through. The activation phase is on all levels and layers. It's connecting to more of the all that is. It is connecting, in my opinion, to your body, to your mind, to your heart, to your soul. And if you really want to allow the energy to flow and receive the next level of codes for you, I love to connect with my highest self and then to the earth and let that energy run through. And in that way, on my vertical axis, I receive so much information without distortion. So that's another thing that you can do. If you're like, how do you do that? I'll probably do it with you again in some way tomorrow, but you can go to day 1 of the, actually, I think I did in a couple days, of the, what was it? The Elemental Prosperity Masterclass that's in the guide section of this Luminous Evolution group, if this is where you're watching it. And you can experience that, because that is one of the other ways that I receive those light codes in a way that I can work with them after I've created the space. I activate a deeper connection with my beingness. And through that, that allows us to connect me to you more deeply, because I don't have the shields up. It allows me to connect with the energies of the elements of Gaia, of the all that is. Right? And then we can bring through the codes, the information that is for us to activate the next level of whatever it is. So inside of our body, we have all this DNA. The DNA inside of us actually includes the all that is. Everything that you have been and will be. All that so-called junk DNA, the people, scientists are like, we don't need this. It's because they don't know what it is. They don't know how to work with it. It's very quantum, and it's just like the information's not accessible to them yet. But the light codes come through and they can activate us to soul remembrance, body remembrance, sometimes even conscious awareness and remembrance of more of who we are and who we came here to be, the light that we are, the connection that we have to everything. And sometimes as we go through that process, it does things, not sometimes, it always does. It turns on more of our like connection to our senses at the higher level, which activates the psychic senses. We'll be talking more about all of that and how in day 2, okay, when we're doing the intuition work. And then those light codes start to shift and change us to move out of separation, which is where we've, as a human species, have been hanging out, the frequency and vibe of separation, where we're just in survival, and move us up into the space of connection, awareness of that connection with the all that is. And in that space is infinite freaking possibility. Because when you are connected to the all that is, you can pull through whatever you need that is for you. So this is the key here, to connect with yourself, be open to receive the activations and the codes that are for you, and deepen the connection with everything. It amplifies. This is our luminous evolution, activating that next level of inner radiance, power, magic, beingness. And in that space, at the same time, we're able to like bring through it all from above, but also from like inside of us. It's happening all simultaneously. And then the third phase of the evolutionary alchemy process is the embodiment. It's literally being that which you are, which sounds like it would be easy, but it's that next level of you, right? Literally being it from the inside out, embodying the frequency of it, right? And that could be as simple as embodying, being the frequency of connection instead of separation, which takes the entire process, body, mind, heart, and soul, to be online, right? The nervous system, like all of it has this multidimensional part to play. And then we be it, we become it, we are it. So I want to invite you to imagine for a moment with me. What do you think would happen to this planet if everybody learned how to transform the junk that was in the way, the stuff that felt dense, whether it's trauma, belief systems, all that stuff that's contracting us, putting our shields up, and open to receive the light that's streaming in, that's from our souls, from the cosmos, from the heavens, and from our own selves, to become an activated next level version of the light that you are at that deepest level, connected to everything. What would happen if everybody was walking around connected, tapped in to each other, to the world, to their intuition, to their highest self? Breathe in. Just imagine for a moment. When I close my eyes, it's freaking shiny. It is just light. It is the planet that is lit up. That is our 10 years from now future that we are walking, dancing towards. We are sometimes crawling. And some people are like, no, I don't want it. Change is hard. Change is scary, too much. Don't want to face the stuff that feels heavy and condensed. But we're on our way there. The choice is, how do we want to get there? Do we want to dance and skip and explore and play on our way there in connection, walking with each other? Or do we want to battle our way there and keep our shields up until the very last moment where the universe will do something to take them out? I know which one feels more expansive to me. Literally neither of those options are right and wrong. And maybe your soul wants to be in battle right now, and that's totally fine. You probably wouldn't be here, but people that want to battle the light and like not open to receive it and do that work, that's totally cool. That's a fun experience for the universal forces of creation to explore through you. I don't want to play like that. It didn't feel as good. So Christina is asking, how do you know that you are receiving light codes? Well, if you are in a state of openness and relaxation, you are receiving them if you're on this planet right now. You're receiving information. If you have your shields up, you might not be receiving the information at all. It's like having blinders on, fists up, force fields, shields, right? The question is, are you going to do something with the information? Are you going to be able to understand it, right? We're going to dive more into the how we can understand it and work with it and explore it tomorrow on day 2, right? When we're working with our intuition. But basically, we can't fully receive it, or at least not receive them without distortion, when we are in fight or flight, right? When our shields are up and we're in survival mode, they will bounce off of us. So the work to relax the nervous system, to be able to be open and receptive and connected, is what allows us to receive them. But they are there. So it's kind of like saying, how do I see the sun, right? Like it's there. It's a question of just like going outside, opening the eyes, right? We're always receiving it. The question is, are they able to penetrate? And can we work with them? Can we activate them into our body? Can we let them do their thing, right? Whether we work with it consciously or not, we're constantly being bombarded by them right now. And what I would like to do before we close for today, after we've talked about this, first the transformation, illumination, transformation, activation, and embodiment of the light that we are, is to plant some seeds so that over the next couple days, those seeds can start to sprout and germinate. So we're going to be in a space where we can activate this and over together, right? And it takes working with our imagination to do this. So if you are not in a space where you are able to connect into like a meditation journey right now, you'll want to come back to this. You can listen for now, or just check in. Maybe it would be more aligned for you to like fully be able to fully come into presence with it, right? Christina says, okay, that puts some things in perspective. Perfect. Amazing. So yeah, the light codes are everywhere. It's literally the light, the information that's coming in. It's an isness. So what are you going to do with it though? So I want to share with you an activation of a seed of this golden light that we're going to do with our imagination. This is just going to be a quick imaginative exercise. But as we'll talk about more tomorrow, your imagination is actually the gateway to the multi-dimensional realms, to working with and understanding more of the light, and to exploring and activating what is possible. So I'm going to ask you to have a drink of water, and then connect into your comfortable position that feels like it's going to support you. And if you are able to close your eyes, if you're not driving, if you're not doing something like that, find a place to go internally. I'm going to guide you through those 3 breaths again, and I'm going to then walk you through this golden seed visualization / imagination. It doesn't matter if you can see it. So this time on the 3 breaths, you're going to breathe in through your nose, and when you exhale, you're going to blow a candle out through your mouth very slowly and gently, okay? So breathing in through your nose, fill up your root and your belly first. Blow the candle out slowly. Beautiful. Breathe into your belly and bring it all the way up to your heart. Blow that candle out again, nice and slowly, coming into the present moment and into your body. And breathing into your root, your belly, your heart, and bring it all the way up to your crown. Slow blow out through the mouth like you're exhaling that candle one more time. I want to invite you to consider this a sacred space where we are setting the intention for today and these next 2 days to open to receive the light codes and be fully supported by the energy of the earth, the cosmos, and the all that is in our highest and best good. I want you to imagine from your tailbone just dropping a beautiful silver cord into the earth that goes all the way down. It just drops an anchor into the center of the planet. Beautiful. And then I want you to imagine, see, dream, visualize, just feel it or just know it. Your highest self, beyond all space and time, beyond distortion, beyond all of the ick. I like to visualize it like a kind of a gaseous cloud that sparkles, but just trust that if you send your consciousness to that space, just by those words, connect me with my highest self, that it is so, it is done. Then imagine it dropping a silver cord down into time and space, all the way down through your crown, in through your heart, and then it goes down through the base of your spine and into the earth. Beautiful. And I want you to imagine that there is light and information and love being pulsed down that beautiful cord, all the way down from your highest self into you. Beautiful. And ask for it to be received with grace and ease. A lot of people, I can sense, are feeling a lot of pressure at that crown. You can ask for the body to turn the sensations down. Imagine a dial. Just turn it down if it's too intense. Okay, there you go. And breathe to open to receive. It's one of the fastest way to receive light codes is to ask for them directly from your highest self. So you know they are coming from you, for your highest and best good. And I want you now to set the intention with me to receive the upgrades from the light, from this golden, beautiful, crystalline plasma light that is now available to us with this beautiful rebirth and redemption energy. And we are going to invite our highest self to do this work. So you can trust that, again, it's happening for you, by you. Whether you see it, feel it, dream it, know it, just command it to be so with your intention. And let me invite our highest selves to take a beautiful golden seed of this plasma light and plant it first in our sacral areas. You can imagine that in your womb space, in your gut, whatever feels right for you. And that beautiful golden seed contains exactly what you need for your next level of expansion and evolution. I want you to take a moment to notice if you feel any sensations in your body, perhaps a pulsing, perhaps an expansion, a tingling, a hot, a cold, doesn't matter. And if you don't feel anything at all, that's perfect and divine as well. But we're setting the intention for your body to integrate this with so much ease, so much grace, that it's at the perfect level for you to expand without feeling overwhelmed. Gorgeous. Take a breath in. Let that continue to integrate and invite your highest self to take another golden seed and place that wherever it feels right, whether it's your heart space or your solar plexus. It's somewhere in your core. For some of you, it's in between. For some, it's right in the heart, some in the solar plexus. Perfect. This is individual to you. Beautiful. Notice if you feel a sensation, even if it's just your imagination, roll with it, okay? Just trust that your imagination is guiding you. In fact, I want you to actively imagine it. Notice if there's a sensation, hot, cold, pulsing, tingling. Set the intention for it to be integrated with grace and ease for your next level of luminous evolution and expansion into more of who you really are, to be able to shine your light and your love unapologetically with so much compassion and love. Beautiful. May it be integrated with grace and ease. And I want you to imagine now your highest self placing one more of these golden seeds in your brain, perhaps around your pituitary, perhaps at the top of the skull, and command it to be so simply by saying it is. Notice that golden seed, if it pulses, if it radiates energy outward, hot, cold, tingly, nothing at all, it's all perfect. May this connection begin to grow to the golden luminous plasma light above and below. As within, as without, may your understanding of your expression of universal, all that is, expand, grow, and light up with radiance, with ease and grace today, over these next 3 days, and moving forward beyond this masterclass. I want you to notice that these 3 seeds inside of you have coalesced into one beautiful, energetically uplifting frequency that may feel like this beautiful pulsing shell around you. Gold light emanating from within, outside you, but also connecting you into the gold light that's all around you. Breathe here and take a moment just to receive whatever wants to come through for you right now. And it might be sensations, imaginations, visions, words. Just allow it to be. Let your imagination be free. I'm going to leave you here. We're just finishing up with some light codes that want to come through in sound form. So I want you to just listen with your body without needing to understand. Kishnake, diashkana ake tokiate, diashke okianaka, retias karetake, yomiakashna karetiate, kuriata eki, eomo, neshkiate. Kiretaka netishkana karatiake diomo diake diatishke. And just breathing, softening, setting the intention that everything that is for you is going to land within you, be activated from the inside out to transmute whatever is ready to be released, shifted, let go of, or transformed, so that you can activate this deeper connection with the all that is and who you are, and emit more of that beautiful, radiant, luminous light in alignment with the all that is. Okay? That you are beautiful. Like just your light right now is bringing a lump to my throat when I tap in and tune into your energy. So I just want you to feel that for a moment, okay? I want you to just see if you can notice the other people that are here live and on the replay. Can you feel their light? Can you feel how across the planet there are little pockets of illumination right here, right now? And just send them a little love, send them a little gratitude, just send them a little thank you with your energy. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to put your hands over your heart. Take a deep breath in. Slide your arms to give yourself a big hug. Squeeze yourself. Give yourself the love that you are so worthy and deserving of. Give yourself some gentle touch and stretch and blink your eyes open. And let me know with a word or two in the chat box and the live how you feel. What we did together, have some water as well, by the way. What we did together was an activation guided by your highest self, right? I get to play tour guide, but when we're working with highest self, it's like, let this be done in your best interest, if it is in your best interest, if it's in the highest good of all. Okay. This is one of my favorite things to do, and I had no idea it was even a thing, but it's a gift that I have, is to be able to bring people on these journeys, these like, they're almost like, well, they're guided meditations, but they're experiences, they're activations, and I can, with my psychic senses, see and feel and hear and know what the group field is doing, and I'm like narrating it, and I get people all the time that are like, I was seeing it and then you said it. And it's like, yes, because I'm not making this stuff up. I'm using my multidimensional senses to like pull through the light codes. And we're co-creating it together. We're going to talk more about like, how do you do that with your intuition, your imagination, your psychic senses tomorrow. But yeah, this is one of my favorite things to do. I've been very focused in a different direction lately. Ever since the summer solstice of 2019. I'm just going to tell you this quick story about when the light told me again what to do. Activated me to my next level while I'm waiting for these comments to come in, okay, as you're integrating, as you're landing. In the summer of 2019, I was working as an artist in residence. I had my business dancing into being. Everything was amazing. I was a professional hula hooper. I was teaching in schools. I was doing festivals and workshops. I'd living literally my dream life with my dream job that I created and smushed all the parts of things that I loved into one thing. And I was deluding myself into thinking that I was doing the thing, the thing the voice of creation told me when I was 8. But I was a spiritual teacher. I was like, I'm totally teaching people spiritual stuff. But I knew, I didn't want to admit to myself that like, no. Like there was a deeper level where I wasn't like weaving it in, but rather I was like just sharing it really flagrantly like I am right now. And it was that 2019 solstice, summer solstice, when that light was back, that multidimensional experience of pure love and inevitability came back with all of these codes for me, that I heard the voice saying, it's time to pivot everything, completely change your business and bring it online. Stop working with kids, start working with adults. You need to be available to hold space for people who are going through a spiritual upgrade, awakening, or expansion. And I had visions of what it would be. There was lots of information like, okay, start with one-on-one coaching and then digital courses and other things like that. And the light was like, don't worry. Eventually, it's all going to come back around. You can do the retreats that you love so much. But for now, just bring it online. I didn't get why, but I knew at that point that I should listen to those messages. And I was like, okay. So I spent the next 9 months figuring out how to do that. How can I bring my mystical, multidimensional magic stuff that I had been doing? And how do I share that? How do I teach that? Got business coaches. I figured out how to bring things online, and I spent the next 9 months figuring it out. And then COVID hit. I was like, oh, that was the thing I was supposed to be preparing for. And of course, it did accelerate a lot of people into an amazing spiritual expansion or awakening. And I have been working to play with that and support people in that, in their integration and connection with their highest self and embodiment of their own light in a whole lot of different ways over the last while. light language, and which I also didn't expect to be a thing in my business, and helping entrepreneurs, because they're the ones that are going to change the world. That's what my last masterclass was all about. I have a certification program for coaches. All of that is amazing. All of that is so much fun. But when this dropped in, I was like, yes, I just want to share with people the magical mystery tour adventures that I love to do. I did that. I've done that a few times in groups called the Alchemical Creation Academy. I do it all the time, these soul adventures with my one-on-one clients. I do it in ceremonies in my membership. And it's like, I haven't been doing it as much lately. And it was time to take people on more magical, mystical tours of adventures and activations, and not need to keep it to entrepreneurs, but to literally be like, who's ready for upgrades? And that's what this luminous evolution is all about. So people are saying right now they're feeling luminous. Ah, yes, good. Good. That's the point. That's one of the points. Nicole is saying, feeling integration and space making happening. Received a message that I am a heart activator, and that's actually a thing I am to be talking about and sharing more. Yes. Okay, so I know Nicole. She is my inspiration coordinator and one of my best friends and co-creators. Her heart activations are huge, and she does them in ceremonies. But this is the like claiming it, owning it, embodying it, unapologetic opportunity to step into it even more fully. Yeah. Oh, so excited for you. Beautiful. People are saying also lots of tingling sensations, heavenly state. Most grateful. I am so grateful. If you have on the replay codes, energies that you want to light ground, taking it from the mental, the imaginal realm and speaking it into creation, and tell me how it felt, please type that in. I would love to read it because I am so grateful that I get to do this with you. It's so much fun for me because I can see and feel your energy too. So tomorrow we're going to talk more about like, how do you activate your intuition, your psychic senses, your imagination to really connect in with the multidimensional, to understand more of this? It's been a journey for me. I've got lots of processes that we can go through, lots of upgrades, lots of activations, and it's going to be really fun. So I talked to you tonight about the evolutionary alchemy process that I use in all ways, shapes, and forms with my clients, what I teach, with my own personal life, to move and work through the light. And it's really more of an experiential thing. So I just gave you like the how. No, sorry, not the how. I gave you like the what, but like how do you do that? You can figure it out. It's in your subconscious mind, or there's different ways that you can play with it with me that I'll be talking more about tomorrow. I am going to have a couple openings for new one-on-one clients, which is super rare because I don't do a lot of one-on-one. I'm also going to be talking more about the Alchemy of Abundance, which is going to be this 9-week activation experience that we're going to do starting April 29th. Weekly activations, soul journeys, and guided meditations where we are going to receive massive upgrades to prepare us for the solstice coming up. The last session is going to be right around the solstice, and this one coming up is going to be wild. I've told you a little bit about like the experiences I've had on the solstice, and I've had so many more upgrades and activations on the solstice too. When the earth herself is on that solstice axis, there is that availability for light to pour in. And so we can receive a lot of information about what we can do, where we can go. So that's what this masterclass is also a launching pad for. I'll be sharing more about that and other ways of playing with me if you want to tomorrow. I'll be able to drop that link. It's going to be a really fun, like I said, magical mystery tour is pretty much the best way to put it out, because that, like what we just did, that little golden seed thing, was planting some seeds, and you don't have to come with me on the 9 weeks for that to be a really profoundly activating experience. But for those who are called into like more, it's going to be amazing. So we are going to explore another activation tomorrow to support you in the next level of your intuitive development. We're going to talk about the imagination as being the gateway to the multidimensional realm. It's been so misunderstood and misaligned, and we're going to do some transmutation of that energy. Sydney's just saying, ooh, we're starting on your birthday and you're coming along for the ride already. Some of my creation coaches, not some, all of my creation coaches in my certification are already in this experience with me. So that's going to be so much fun. So I can't wait for tomorrow. We will be meeting at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 2 hours earlier than this one. The time zone converter, time and clock converter is in the emails. You can also Google one, but 2 hours earlier than whatever this time start was for you. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun. Make sure you bring some water. Make sure you're in a comfortable space where you can go on a deeper journey into the imaginal realm, which is the multidimensional realm, with me to receive something cool. I cannot wait. Oh, beautiful. And Nicole's just saying, I made a post in the Facebook group with schedules and posted the time converter there in guide 1. Oh, Nicole, you're the best. I love the way your brain works, and it's so supportive to me. So beautiful. If anybody has any questions about things that have come up, whether now or in the replay, type them in. I will be happy to either answer them in the question or tomorrow. And I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the opportunities that we've had together to already plant some golden seeds for what is coming through next. Like I said, it's more gorgeous than we can even fathom. So sending you so much love. Drink water tonight, move your body, stretch, support yourself. And when in doubt, like, what should I do to support myself? I'm going to leave you with this one tip. Hands on heart, ask yourself, what's the most loving thing I could do for myself in this now? Breathe into it and then do the thing. If you don't know what's next, say the same thing, do the same thing, do it over and over again until you feel so filled up that you are connected and you just know instinctively what to do. So I will see you tomorrow, beautiful ones. Have a gorgeous night. Thanks for going on that adventure with me.